History of weapons in video games, the AK-47. Hello and welcome to Weapon History, where I tell you the history behind popular weapons in video games. And today, we tackle the AK-47 in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. As you could assume, the AK-47 was placed into service in 1947 by the Soviet Union. The man who is responsible for the creation of this weapon is Mikhail Kalashnikov, which is where the K in AK comes from. Now, Mikhail worked with tanks in World War II, and after the war, he wanted to create a weapon to improve on the shortcomings that the Soviets had when facing the German army. For many of the Soviet troops, they didn't have the proper training for their weapons, and tons of technical issues would sprout up, with them not being treated well, especially during the cold winters. So, Mikhail took inspiration from the Germans' STG-44 and various other weapons, and made them into one that was reliable and sturdy, so that even untrained soldiers could get the same results as one who was properly trained. Additionally, the weapon fires a much larger round of that of the RPK light machine gun, which is kind of shaped like a slice of pizza instead of the standard milk carton that many firearms had at the time. So, what the mag had to do to be able to fit these rounds in was to create a sort of curve for the bullets to be able to fire into the receiver, creating the iconic curvature of the magazine itself. So from 1947 to 1959, the AK-47 was adopted by the Soviet military and had over 75 million rifles produced, since it was so cheap to produce, with it being made mostly of wood and metal. And rather than the Soviets making a new weapon in 1959, they said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they made the AKM, which lasted until 1974, where the much lighter AK-74U was put into use, being, again, lighter than the AK-74 and the AKM, while also having a similar stopping power to it. Now, with Black Ops 6 being out for over a month at this point, this marks the 16th time that this weapon has appeared in some form or another in over the 21 years and games of Call of Duty. And while I could list all 16 different types or variations of AK that have been in Call of Duty, it's going to be much simpler and easier to list the games that don't have it, which is Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, World at War, World War II, and Vanguard. As for Black Ops 6, from what I've seen with their model, they do a very good job at getting the proper proportions of the weapon as well. Additionally, there are also 4 variations of the AK that Black Ops 6 has in-game, with that being the AS-Val, the AKM, the Jackal, and the SVD. So, if you're interested in hearing me talk about the variations that the AK platform has in Black Ops 6, be sure to let me know in the comments. But, as of today, about